Hey everyone, welcome to our Break the Barriers call tonight for leadership training. We're excited to have you here. Today is Tuesday, September 29th, and we have a very special guest speaker, Nicole Layton, who we'll hear from some amazing training. And we have a special guest, I'm excited to be back with you guys, and just a couple of announcements. So I know I made it to most of Andy's call on the phone, but I didn't hear the beginning. But just a really big, important announcement for everyone in their teams is a lot of times people really slow down right now at this time of year, but now is the time to start speeding up and catch the momentum. I've done it both ways, where I've slowed down at the end of the year and then it was like dead at the beginning of the year. And then I sprinted at the end of the year and it was like booming at the beginning of the year. So now is the time to grow your followers, to add coaches to your team, just to be getting ready for that New Year's rush, because the New Year's rush, it really starts like mid-January through April, May. And so if we prepare now and help our teams get ready, you'll have a very successful year next year. So that's a big thing. The other thing is, I would love your feedback. I've heard from some coaches on the new training, on the feedback of the training that we've implemented this last month. So I would love your feedback if you've done it and what your coaches thought, how it went. It's still, in testing phase, so we would love to hear how it went with everyone. And then the last thing is, I guess, Success Club ends tomorrow for September. So keep going strong, helping your coaches go strong to the end of the month. But now I'd like to turn it over to Nicole. We're really excited to hear from her. She is one of the fastest coaches on our team to get to Diamond, and she is an amazing leader on our team. She's a success starter, where she got the Success Club the first 3 months in a row, got her ticket to Nashville for next year. She has at least 5 emeralds on her team, and she just is an amazing leader. So we're really excited to hear from you, Nicole. And she's also a busy mom of 7 kids and has a lot going on in addition to coaching. So welcome to the call, and take it away.
Thank you, Shannon. That was a beautiful introduction. Okay, well, I'm going to start out by sharing my screen. So, can you see my screen? Yes? Okay. Okay, I have a little PowerPoint for today. I think it's F5. Yep, good. Okay, so we are going to talk today about personality types. We're going to briefly talk about that. And then we are going to talk about, I can't think of the term right now. It is, situational leadership. Just had to scroll down in my slides to figure it out. Okay, so we've talked about personality types before, and I think Shannon used the color code personality test, which is a great personality test. I actually took an entire class in school about personalities, and they used this one. They just call it adult profile assessment. I don't really know what the name of it is. Anyway, they do D, I, C, and S is what they do for it, and it's super in-depth. It's a really great one if you want to get more in-depth besides the color testing. I'll show you what this looks like. That's what the test looks like. If you are interested in getting it and getting more in depth, it's amazing. It talks about, it takes each of these, the D, I, C, and S, it takes each of these categories and breaks it up into 8 subcategories. So that's how in depth it gets. But for the purpose of our call today, I just wanted to briefly go over it, just the basics of it. So there's D, which is the dominant personality type. That's a driver, a doer. They're they are going to go for it and just get the task done. There is the inspiring. Those are kind of the playful ones. If you know the color chart, they're like the yellows. They are very interesting, artistic. They like to have fun. There's the supportive. They're steady, they're stable. They are also really good at getting things done and helping others. There's the C, which is cautious. They're competent, careful. They are very, like, they're kind of like the mathematical mind type people. So if you notice in the middle, there's this circle. And so what I want to point out to you is when you're looking at someone, you don't have to be like, oh, are they a D? Are they an I? Are they a C? Are they an S? You can kind of pick those out, but you can generally figure out what someone is by just these 4 things. So you can decide, are they outgoing or are they reserved? And then you could decide, are they task-oriented or people-oriented? So for me, I am people-oriented, and I am outgoing, and I'm an I. Actually, I am very, I have a lot of points in all of the sections. I'm actually really even, but my I is my dominant. My husband, he is very task-oriented. Like, he doesn't remember people's names. He does, like, nothing. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he's not so concerned about people's feelings all the time. He just wants to get the job done. So he's very task-oriented. And he's outgoing, so he's a D, because he's not, he'll say what he thinks. He's not going to keep it in to preserve someone's feelings or something. So anyway, so I'm an I and he's a D. So if someone was, say they're reserved, they're quiet, they don't like speak out a lot, but they're task oriented, they would be a C. And then if they're a people oriented, so they want to help people or they are concerned about people, but they're reserved, they're not like super outgoing about it, then they're an S. So anyway, in talking about that, that's just kind of one thing you can look at and say, okay, is this person outgoing? The reason why I'm pointing this out is as a leader, you would want to say, are they outgoing or reserved? And then you want to respond to them that way. So you don't want to force someone who's really reserved to post on their page, you know, just right off the bat. You have to be more careful about maybe, you know, you could post about water today or something, you know, but if they're outgoing, I'm going to push someone to post about their health and fitness journey a little bit more. Or, you know, as a coach under me, I'm going to encourage them to talk to more people over the phone or, you know, something. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to point out to you guys. I don't want to go into a lot of detail about that because we could really talk for a whole semester about this in depth. So the next thing we're going to talk about, whoops, my mouse is, okay, it's called situational leadership. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the 1-minute manager. So this is what the book looks like. This is actually the second one. You have the 1-minute manager, which talks about setting goals and what you do when people meet their goals or what they don't when they don't meet their goals, and how to do it quickly. And that didn't really apply to us. This is the second book, which is Leadership and the 1-Minute Manager, which applies perfectly to our situation. So I'm really excited to talk about it today and show it to you guys. So leaders don't force people to follow. They invite them on a journey. So this is the situational approach. You have effective leaders will recognize what the employees need. They assess the competence and the commitment, and we'll go into more detail about that later. they'll look at the skills and the motivation vary over time for their employees. And then they adapt their own style to meet those needs. So these are the developmental levels. So these are for your employees. Say if you're a supervisor, or in our situation, these would be our coaches or our challengers. So you look at like their competence level and their commitment level. So D1 would be they have low competence and high commitment. That means that they don't know very much quite yet, but they're so excited to get started. So that would be like the first stage. The second stage would be they have some competence, they've learned some, but they fall in the commitment because maybe they've gotten discouraged. It wasn't as exciting as they thought it was going to be. The next level is they have better competence because they're still learning, and they still have low commitment. And then the next level is they have high competence because they've learned everything they need to know. And they have high commitment because they have the confidence and they're excited about their job again because they know what they need to know and they're comfortable in their situation now. So here's another quote that I loved in the book. There is nothing so unequal as the equal treatment of unequals. And I just thought of my kids when I read that because they're always like, it's not fair. And I'm like, well, I love this quote because it just says, well, if I treat you all fairly, then that isn't fair because you're not the same people. I should be treating you differently according to your strengths. So, and that's how we should be treating our coaches and our challengers, is according to their strengths. Oh, my mouse keeps. Okay. So you have your leadership styles, and you would look at behavior patterns of the individual who attempts to influence others. That's the definition. It's the behavior pattern of an individual who attempts to influence others. And then these are, we're going to look at a chart in a minute, and these are the steps or the stages of the leadership styles. And then you have the development levels. I have to keep moving this little video thing. Degree to which the subject have the competence and commitment to accomplish a given task or activity. And then these are the different developmental levels. So yeah, and we just went through those: D1, D2, D3, and D4. So this side is for the leader, and then this side is for the person who the leader's helping. Okay, so you have a directive style leader. So this is high directive and low supportive. So this means that they don't have to support them a lot because they are already excited about what they're doing, but they have to teach them. So this is a stage where you're teaching a lot, but you don't have to necessarily support them as far as like make them excited because they're already excited. So focuses communication on goal achievement. The leader will spend less time using supportive behaviors, goal achievement instructions. Oh, I didn't have that on there. So the second coaching, or the second style is coaching, and that's where you have high directive and high supportive. That's you're teaching them and you're having to support them because they may have gotten discouraged too while they're still needing some direction. This one is so you're high in both. It's the most work is the coaching style. So the leader focuses communication on goal achievement and supports the subordinates' involvement through encouragement and soliciting their input. And they still make the final decision. So the leader is still in charge. Okay, so there is the next one. The next stage is the third stage, and that's supporting. So that means that the person knows what they're doing. They've learned everything they pretty much need to know, but they still need to have the support because they haven't quite gotten on their own as far as being completely satisfied with where they're at. So the leader does focus, or not focus solely on goals. So they'll be focusing a lot on support. Uses supportive behaviors to bring out followers' skills. They do listening, praising, asking for input, providing feedback because you're trying to support them. Delegates day-to-day decision-making control. That's because, and this is laid out for a corporate setting, but I want you guys to just take this and apply what you can to what you're doing. So, but as we're going through these slides, it is set up for a corporate setting. So anyway, they delegate because the person knows what they're doing, so they'll delegate things to them, kind of like how Shannon delegates to Angie to help her out when she needs help. Angie has that knowledge, so she's able to do that. This is the delegating style. It's the fourth style, and that's low supportive and low directive. Offers less task input and social support, lessens involvement in planning, control of details, goal clarification, and gives them, gives them control because the person has a lot of knowledge and they don't need the support anymore. They're on their own. They're excited about what they're doing. I can't even read that one because just a second. Okay. Refrains from intervention and unneeded social support. So in this stage, you could almost offend them by giving them too much support in a sense, as like you could intervene too much and make them feel uncomfortable or make them feel like you don't think they know what they're doing. So that's that stage. So these are the 4 leadership styles in a graph. And so on the left, you have supportive behavior, and on the bottom, you have directive behavior. And it goes in line with the what we talked about, what their behavior is as far as like if they need low, if they have low directive knowledge, that's right here. And as they get more knowledge, they move over here. So it is like when they first start out at a job, they're not going to know very much, so they're over here. And then as they learn more, then they go through here, and then this would be like the highest amount of knowledge. This would be like Shannon, or most of us are actually right here because we're leaders, and we already know what we're doing, so we're all pretty much in the 4th stage. And then, so right here, you have their high directive, or I mean, they have high knowledge, and they need high support. So that would be low directive. As a leader, you would have low directive and high supportive in that box. And then this one is high directive because they don't know very much because it's on this end, and high supportive. Then you have low supportive, low directive, and high directive and low supportive. So indicators that you would look at in somebody is you look at their experience, related skills that they have, the intelligence, like for example, in related skills, someone that we're like a challenger, if they've been personal trainer, they would have a lot of the skills already, you know, that they need. So they might not be coming in with no knowledge, you know what I mean? So you kind of assess that. Intelligent and can think through problems, can find and use resources, self-directed, And these are the directive indicators to look at, and then these are the supportive indicators to look at. So interest in activity, volunteers for the activity, discussion with others, positive attitude towards group, and follow through. Now, so what you do is you look at those indicators, or, you know, kind of in general, of support on one side and directive on the other side. And then you can ask yourself if they're able to perform the task, how complicated is the task, are they skilled at the task, and do they have a desire once they start. Here's another quote. I didn't mean to put this here, but we'll read it. Treat people as if they were what they ought to be, and you help them become what they are capable of being. I feel like this whole group that we're in with Shannon, the Break the Barriers group, that just completely, you know, is what she's doing. She's taking people that are what they ought to be, and she's making them do, or she's helping them do what they're capable of doing. So, well, thank you, Shannon, for that, because you're amazing. So anyway, I didn't mean to put that there because I was going to say you take these indicators and then you place them in one of these groups. And then that is how you would respond to them as a leader. So, for example, if they are, so they start out here, as you can see, there's S1, S2, S3, S4. So everyone pretty much starts here, where people don't have a lot of knowledge about their job, but they're so excited to start. All of our challengers are so excited to start. They like want to get going. We don't have to give a lot of support a lot of times, but we have to tell them what to do, and we have to tell them what to expect. So that would be the directing style of leadership. Then you move up into here because you have, they're still high directed. They still don't know quite everything, or you're going to still be teaching them. So here you might be teaching about their health and fitness, and then here you might be teaching about coaching. So they're still needing direction, but maybe they are getting discouraged because people aren't responding like they thought they would, or maybe they, you know, they're not getting the results that they thought they would. So you're going to need to have high support too in this section. So then they move over. This is an ideal curve, is what I'm explaining right now. So then they would move over into this section where they have a lot of knowledge. They've learned a lot, but they're still a little discouraged. They're still getting to know the process as far as, like, you know, what to expect and how people are responding to them, and they're still a little discouraged. So you don't have to direct them a lot because you've already given them all the trainings, but you need to give them a lot of support still. So you should still be contacting them, asking them what they're needing, you know, checking in with them, setting goals, is what you'd still be doing in that section. Then they would move down into this section because, say, they're starting to sign up, you know, there's 3 people a month, and they see the vision and they know what they're doing because they've been through all the trainings, and so that would be the delegating leadership style, where you can kind of step back, and this is where we should all be in the leadership group, where, like, Shannon should be able to delegate anything to us, and we should be able to follow through with it. It says low supportive and low directive because you're still going to have support. Just like our group, we have support in our group. And you're still going to have some directive. You might need to ask questions, or they might need to tell you, you know, the initial task. But it's going to be very low. It's a lot of delegating in this section. So when you look at this when you look at this chart, you can pinpoint, You can pinpoint anyone in any box. So, for example, oh, and another thing I forgot to say, everybody goes through this cycle, and the end of the cycle is termination. So everybody goes through the point where they know they're really excited, but they don't know a lot, and then they still need to learn, and they're getting less excited, and then they are not really excited still, but they know more, and then, you know, they get excited again, and they know a lot. And then they go into the termination at the end, because eventually we'll all end up leaving whatever we're doing at some point. So anyway, but it doesn't have to go on this perfect curve. Someone could be in this box 1 week, and the next week they could be in this box. So that's why it's important to diagnose where they're at, and then as a leader, you are going to want to direct them accordingly. So, and how you would do that is like, I'm not going to give you specifics, but you would just look at the directive and the supportive. Like, you might think someone's in this box and they have a lot of knowledge and they need some support. And then maybe they might say something to you and you go, oh, excuse me. Oh, you're not getting a lot of leads. You're having trouble with leads. I thought you know, you're not going to say this to them, but I thought that they were good with leads. You know, as a leader, you're thinking, I thought you were good with leads. And so they would actually go back into this box because you're having to give them a lot more training. You thought they were in this box, but they're not, you know. So anyway, people will jump around in these boxes, and you diagnose where they're at, and you will give them direction or support according to what they need. Ideally, people will go through this pattern, and if you keep track of your people and set goals with your people on a regular basis, you can help direct them through this pattern better. So let's see if I have any more. Oh yeah, okay. So oh, where'd it go? We'll just click on it here. So the followers move forward and backward. So that's what I just kind of talked about along the developmental continuum. That was the little curve. Effective leaders diagnose where subordinates are. I love how it uses the word subordinates. On the developmental continuum. So you find out where they are, and then you adapt your leadership style to what they're needing. Leaders must be flexible in their leadership behavior. So what I want to say is I talked a lot about this today because I want to point out that you can't just be like a flat leader. You can't just lead everybody the same. You can't just put them in a group and make a general post and expect everybody to participate and be happy. You need to find where they are on the continuum and lead to what they need, and you'll be more successful. So you have to be a diverse leader and make sure that you're giving the people what they need so that they want to stay with you and continue to work with you. Yeah, so does anybody have any questions? You can either unmute your line or comment. You guys are good? Oh,
I have a question.
okay, Cindy.
Is all that information in that book that you shared?
This one?
The Leadership in the 1 Minute Manager. Okay, it's all inside that book?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I need to get that book.
Yeah, it's amazing. There are 3 books in this series. The first book is just called The 1 Minute Manager, and it talks about setting goals with your people. So that is a good one too. These are easy reads. I seriously read this in like a few hours.
Oh.
Anyway, the first one is about setting goals, and then it really does apply to us, but not as much as this one. So you set goals with your people this is in a nutshell. And then if they meet their goal, it tells you what to do. And if they don't meet their goal, it tells you what to do. And it's really goal oriented, and then it tells you where to go with it. So it's really goal based. And then there's the leadership and the 1 minute manager. And then there's a third book. And my professor didn't require us to get the third book, so I didn't actually get that one yet, but I probably will eventually. So.
Okay, thank you. I will be getting those
Yeah,
books.
you're welcome. Yeah, they're amazing. I love them. So.
Who is it by again?
Oh, yeah, it's by Kenneth Blanchard. Let me see if I can show it to you on the screen here.
Thank you.
Kenneth Blanchard, Patricia Zigarmi, and Dre Zigarmi.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
I have a question for you, Nicole.
Okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, that was awesome. I love that training. That was very good. Second of all, so you're like a pro at helping your coaches get to Emerald. So do you have some tips that you could give? I know there's some people on this call like wondering, what are you doing to get your coaches to Emerald?
You know, I'm not sure. I was thinking about that because I was going, you know, they probably really want to know like what I'm doing to like help because I have 5 business builders right now. And I was thinking, I wonder what they're doing, you know, what I'm doing to help them. And I've really been trying to think about that. And let me think for a second. One thing I do is I make sure I keep really close communication with them. I found when I don't communicate with people very much, they just kind of become uninterested. So communication is a big one. I make sure like in my challenge group, I have recently set up a meeting time file, kind of like what Shannon did with the Emerald contest where you can go in and edit it. So I set up like the meeting times that I had available, and I told everybody to go sign up for a meeting time. And then if they didn't, I messaged them. So that's something that helps because then I meet with everybody each week. And that's for communication. I think what I'm mostly doing to help them get to Emerald is just encouraging them to post probably about their story, and so that their friends see it and then they get interest. One thing that I'm going to be doing in my next challenge that I'm really excited about is I'm going to ask the challengers to do the posts. I'm going to ask, not all of them, not all of the posts, but I'm going to say, I'm toying between a few ideas, but I'm either going to say, can you take this day of the week to do a health and fitness post? Or I'm going to just ask them like when I feel, hey, I can't do a post on Wednesday. Can you do the post for me and just post something fun about health and fitness? I feel like that's an easy transition into, oh, it's not that hard to run a challenge, because I think that they get overwhelmed by that. But when you have them post once, they start realizing, oh, this isn't that hard. I talk to them a lot about their friends and family, if they have friends and family that they want to do it with or want to talk to about it. What else am I doing? Yes, I have only had one. Sorry, I'll read your. Ashley says, are the majority of your challengers new coaches? And yes, all of them are. I only sign up coaches pretty much. I have signed up two challengers. One of them became a coach, and one of them dropped out. Well, like quit that, like she did that month and then she quit. And that was a while ago. That was in the summer. But everybody else, I just sign them up as a coach. And Shannon just gave me a good idea that I'm trying, and it's working. Yes, discount coaches. Oh, Cindy said discount. Yes, they are discount coaches. And then I'm like trying to answer all of your guys' questions. Okay, so anyway, what Shannon told me to do is say, we're going to work on your health and fitness goals, and then we're going to help you earn an income. And I've been saying that, and it's working. Like, everybody wants to do it. They're like, oh, awesome, you can help me earn an income. And I might go into it a little bit more, like, I'll tell you everything you need to know. When I signed up, Shannon asked me, would you consider being a coach? And I was like, actually, I have considered that. And I said to her, I'll be a coach if you teach me everything you know. And she's like, deal, I'll teach you everything I know. And she really did. She taught me everything I know. And so, or everything she knew. And so I try and do that with my challengers, or my coaches. And I tell them that. I'm like, I'll teach you what you need to know. Let's see. So what scripts are you using to get them to sign up right away? Basically what I just said, we'll sign you up, or we'll start you up with your health and fitness goals, and then we'll help you earn an income. One thing I always say is there's two ways for you to sign up. You can sign up as a customer, and you can buy a program. And then I talk about the Shakeology and how much it's going to cost the second month. Or you can sign up as a discount coach, and you can get a discount on your Shakeology. And then I talk about how, and I'm like, and then I say, I always pretty much sign everybody up as coaches or discount coaches. And then I say something like, getting all these questions. We're running out of time. We have like a minute and a half left. So anyway, I just say, I tell them about the coaching fee, and it's $40, and it's really awesome because you get a discount. And then I say, but when you buy a challenge pack, that fee's waived. So you might as well just, sign up to be a discount coach, because you get a discount and you don't have to pay that fee. And they think that's so cool that they don't have to pay the fee. Let's see, Ashley's next question. So on next week's team call, how do you guys again? Okay, Ashley. Want to hear the rest. Cindy says, want to hear the rest of everything, but I have to pick up my daughter later. Okay, bye, Cindy. Okay, great. Well, that was good timing because we're about done. If you guys have more questions, you can message me. Melissa messaged me a few times. I sent her a few scripts that I was using. I can't remember what it was about now, but anyway, I'm always open to questions and stuff. So anyway, well, thanks for coming to our call. And if nobody has any more questions, let's see, could you add your scripts to the files tab? I have not necessarily typed it out, but I could look into doing that. It's just a lot of talk